1, 2. 1, 2. So, noswaith dda pawb, a chroeso cynnes I Gŵyl Serameg Rhyngwladol yn Aberystwyth. So welcome this evening to our 20th festival. We started in 1987, it's every second year. It's looking as good as ever, I hope. We've got off to a great start today because we've been organising some things in advance of this opening, which has been very interesting and successful, I think. The ICF is born of an alliance of the Arts Centre and the university here, and North Wales Potters and South Wales Potters. And I'm delighted now to hand you over tonight to Professor John Timmins to welcome you on behalf of the university.
Well, noswaith dda bawb a croeso cynnes I chi I gyd. It's a really warm welcome to you all and a good evening. It's a real pleasure to welcome you here to the university this evening for this weekend for the International Ceramics Festival. And we're delighted that we are able to host it here in our fabulous Arts Centre. The festival offers opportunities for teachers, for students, for ceramic artists, collectors, working potters, amateurs, lovers of craft, all sorts of people to a chance to meet, to study the work of distinguished internationally known potters and ceramicists from Wales, from the UK, and of course from around the world. And this year there's a central theme of sustainability in ceramics, which I think is a great thing to see. And the issue of sustainability is particularly important to us here in Aberystwyth University and is a key component of our university strategy. And I hope you agree that for those of you who have not been here before to the Arts Centre, that it is a wonderful venue, and actually the spaces that we have really facilitate an excellent festival for you to enjoy over the weekend. And we're delighted to be able to help as much as we can here at the university through work from our various academic departments. So a huge thank you to them who have been involved. And also the work going on in the community before the event and the variety of different activities that have been going on there through the help of different community groups and the local council. And that aspect of community, again, is something that's really important to us here at Aberystwyth University. Helping to support and develop communities is something that, again, is a central component part of what we want to do as a university. So anything we can do to help in that regard is a real privilege for us to be involved with. And I have to mention that we also hold a great collection of ceramics here at the university for over the last 35 years, and some of which is downstairs, and I encourage you to take a look if you have not already. So we'd like to welcome people from all over the world. Actually, I've got a huge list here of where people have come from. But I was just told before I came on here that we've got someone from Australia as well. So they trump anyone that's on. Who's the one in Australia? You probably got quicker from Australia than you did from London, I suspect. Anyway, but you're very welcome to Aberystwyth here from Australia. So again, I would like to thank some various sponsors as well who have made various generous gifts and donations to the activity, special grants that have been going on from the British Council and also from Wales Art International. So a huge thank you to them for their support. And I'd like to just take this opportunity to state the university's continued support for the arts here, both at Aberystwyth but also in the region. And through our work that we do here in the Arts Centre, but of course our soon-to-be completed Hengoleg project, which is the old college, which is the great big building with loads of scaffolding on it down on the seafront. If you haven't seen it yet, it's worth a look. It's the largest scaffolding project in the UK at this point in time. And I know that because I get sent the bill. And I think for me, I think arts are key to society, and it's so important that we support them. And we will do what we can at the university to ensure that we provide that support now and over the coming years to ensure everyone has access to arts and various cultural activities that we know enrich and change lives for the better. Well, that's it. Thank you very much. No, thank you. So thank you very much indeed for coming. You are very, very welcome here at the university and in Aberystwyth, and I hope you have a fantastic time when you're here. Diolch yn fawr i chi. Diolch.
So now, it's my turn to introduce the two most important people in the room. And that is Jim and Ingrid, who are our presenters on stage here, our masters of ceremony. Still we call it that. And they keep everything in order. And it all runs wonderfully. So, Jim and Ingrid.
I'm going to have to turn my hearing aid down. Who would have thought 37 years ago, when I was invited by Steve Matheson to come and demonstrate, some strange American who landed on these shores, to do that 37 years later I'd still be here. It's And I've reached my own milestone this year of being a comer in West Yorkshire, as you are, if you haven't had several generations, by reaching 50 years at our own little place in Booth House in Home Firth. So I'm pleased on a couple of scores to be here, but most of all to see you and to know that it's impossible not to enjoy yourself here for this weekend. It's guaranteed. Everywhere you turn, there'll be a discussion to be had. There'll be inspiration to be felt. There'll be emotional tugs and beer to be drunk. So I think probably the least said, the better. But I know it's international in its scope. It's international from the outset. And I know that when I first went into the ceramic studio, I never thought that it would involve such a wide network of people. And we've got this network here for you, and a lot of you have also traveled to get here. And that makes it doubly enjoyable for all the exchanges that happen over the weekend. Our president, Lars Tharp, is unable to be here, but he has recorded a short video message that we'd like to play, because Lars, as you know, is in international demand, and he's on one of his occasions now. But he'd like to say welcome, and so we'll play Lars Tharp now, okay? Fingers crossed. Technical things all being the same.
Welcome to everyone joining us at the Aberystwyth International Ceramics Festival. I'm Lars Tharp. I am president of the festival, and to my shame, I am unable to join you this year. I'm particularly sad because I've looked at the program, and it does look as though the team have produced some really interesting speakers and demonstrators. Things I always enjoy watching. You've been drawing people from all over the world. Belgium, France, Claytopia, England, India, Ireland, Japan, Scotland, Sweden, Turkey, Ukraine, USA, Wales. It's a pretty good list of people who are prepared to travel distances to spread the word of clay. I was sad not to see any Danes this year. The Danes are quite good at ceramics, so I decided to treat you to my own piece of Danish ceramics. You see it over my shoulder there, and of course you'll instantly recognise the work of the Kiln factory down in Nestor. As for Claytopia, I still haven't found it on the map. It could be one of those places that's been renamed by some obscure potentate of some obscure country who wants to big up the brotherhood of clay. Who knows? But I wish you all great fun, a lot of enjoyment, and good hunting. Welcome.
Thank you, Lars, wherever you are in the world. Isn't it good to be back? And for those of you who are new, I'm sure you'll become repeat offenders like a lot of people here. It's over to me now to introduce our fantastic demonstrators who are just going to come up, share a couple of slides, and let you know what they're doing over the weekend so you have a good sense of what you want to do. So first up to the stand, we have Elif from Turkey. And Elif has done the residence here supported by the British Council Biennial Grant. And she'll also be doing the Michael Casson lecture tomorrow at 5. So over to you, Elif.
Yes. Hello. I'm Elif Aydoğdu Tekin from Turkey. I'm a full-time professor in Bilecik University, and I'm using ceramic waste for preparing my art works more than 15 years. I'm going to give a lecture about upcycling in contemporary arts, ceramic art, tomorrow at 5 p.m. here in the Great Hall. Bonnie, Sally, and I had a residency in Nightgaru. You can see the works we did here in remade exhibition at the Ceramic Gallery. Thank you.
And next up, can we welcome Bonnie Grace from Wales? Bonnie?
That's not me. Bonnie Wenovi, I am Bonnie Grace. I am Welsh and also Welsh speaking. As Elif mentioned there, I have been part of the residency down at Nantgarw the past week, and some of our work is in remade at the moment. I am a multidiscipline artist, so I work in a lot of things, not just ceramics. So I always start in line drawing, so I did a continuous line drawing today. Some of you may have attended. I did my degree in fine art, and then I went on to do my master's in surface pattern, where I had this great idea to create jugs. I had some beautiful tutors who shoved me into the ceramics department, and that's where my jugs came from. I start my jugs with continuous line, and then I make kind of 2D but 3D forms. I can't throw, so I kind of cheated my way into making jugs by using slabs. I'm inspired by antiques mainly, and mostly Welsh antiques. I grew up with my mum selling with her antique business, and in my work I try to recreate the designs and the shapes that I saw, and in hopes in creating my own Welsh dresser, or a form of that at some point. This weekend I am doing quite a few things. I'm doing a couple of demonstrations and going through my process, so I'm demonstrating how I make and also how I decorate. And I am also part of a Welsh ceramics discussion, which is tomorrow, talking about Welsh ceramics and how that is developing. That is me.
And next up, we have Louise Bell from England. Here we go. And
there we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Louise Bell. I'm a ceramic artist from East Sussex in England. And it's really wonderful to be here. I spend a lot of time working by myself in my studio, and so it's good to get out. And it's so lovely to have all these conversations with everybody, so I'm having a very good time already. I'm doing a talk here on Sunday and I'll be talking about my inspiration through my clay journey and everything that I've learned, not just about clay, but also about life through working with clay. You'll also hear quite a lot about ceramic toys, ancient toys, and where they come from, which is a big part of my inspiration. You'll hear about the Trojan horse, for example, and how I made it and why I made it, which I will not go into now. And I will also be talking about endangered species, which I make on wheels. And I will be doing demonstrations on how to make an anteater, and then the second one will be about making a lion and a lot of my decorative processes. And I think, oh yeah, there we go. There's a lion that I'll be making. Thank you.
And now in the buy one, get one free, from Scotland, we have got Doug Fitch and Hannah McAndrew.
Good Lord, there's a lot of you here. Well, I'm Doug Fitch.
I'm Hannah McAndrew.
And we're partners in life and business and have been for 12 years, I guess. The last time I was here was, oh yes, we need that, don't we? You need that. You can be in charge, you always are. And I demoed here 12 years ago and I said, oh, never again. And, but Hannah filled the forms in and here we are. So here we are.
So we're going to be talking about, well, we live in Scotland, for those of you that don't know, and we're going to be talking about what we do and why we do it. Tomorrow we're going to be demonstrating our 2 different approaches to decorating with slip. These are just a few examples.
We're going to be mostly doing flat things tomorrow, aren't we, I think?
Plan.
So Hannah's going to decorate one of these big chargers, which is amazing to see, and very calculated, very neat and tidy. I, by contrast, am going to be rather sloppy and messy, but it might be interesting to see the contrast. So that's what we're thinking.
And then our slideshow is about how we've got to where we are, doing what we do and why we do what we do, really.
Yeah, and the amount of kind of dedication to the cause you have to survive in this world, really, which isn't easy, you know. So anyway, that's it. This is us, and this is our. And they're going to be around and about, but they're the potters of the future, so we bring them along to these things. So there we go. Thank you very much.
And next up, we have Nicholas Lees from England.
Hi, I'm Nicholas, or mostly Nick Lees, from England. I live and work in Hampshire, and I've been making ceramics for quite a long time alongside quite a lot of teaching, but now I'm a full-time artist in my studio. This piece is here for sort of background context of some work I made a while ago. I've got an example of this, but I've been making different things over my career, linked by an approach which is sort of interested in the relationship of sort of concepts, materials and processes and the way that thinking and making interact. The thing that I'm more known for that I'll be doing on stage tomorrow and here is at midday is lathe turning porcelain, of which this is an example, and so is this, and so is this. And then more recently I've been making some slightly different work, which is about the sort of process and kiln related interaction between 2 objects, one of which is carved and the other is just precisely formed, and there's something that happens in the kiln to unite the 2. And I'll be sitting carving something, I think, in the early morning shift on Sunday morning, and tomorrow afternoon I'll be doing a talk which explains some of the interrelation between all of these things. Thank you.
And next up, all the way from the Ukraine, Yulia Makuliuk.
Доброго вечора всім і слава Україні. It means good evening, everyone, and glory to Ukraine. It's an honor to be here tonight. I'm not a real artist, I have to confess. I'm an environmentalist who was converted into pottery. So the main theme of my practice is what does it mean to be a ceramicist in the era of climate change and isolation and war? And how do we adapt our practice to these challenges? So I'm working on the research about carbon footprint of studio pottery. I'm calculating how much CO2 is being emitted into the atmosphere when we make pots or sculpture. I've written a whole book about that called Potters Save the World. But my most recent obsessions, the ideas that I play with, I call it the blackout ceramics. And it is all natural, biodegradable mix of clay that hardens on air and doesn't require firing at all, allowing you to go almost carbon neutral. And you can make functional pieces out of it, not tableware, but other things. And tomorrow and the day after, I will be demonstrating how I work with it and sharing the recipe. And I brought one complete piece back from home. You can try it out. And I also have a lecture on sustainability and carbon footprint in ceramics in case you're interested. Thank you very much.
And next up, the man who needs no introduction, the man off the telly, Rich Miller.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rich. I'm so excited to be part of such a vibrant event. It's the first time for me. So my talk on Sunday is going to be centered around my 20-year career making tiles, along with some of the themes within my own work, really, which is heavily centered around British history. My demonstrations are going to be kind of small sculptural pieces that very much have a kind of a personal narrative woven into them. And, you know, I'm just excited to be here to sort of share that with you all. As you know, yeah, I've been part of the pottery throwdown. Some of you may know, some of you may not, but yeah, making presumption then. But, you know, yeah, the throwdown's been such a big part of my life. It's brought such joy to me, and ultimately, you know, observing the potters on there has just reminded me to be brave, you know, inspired me to keep challenging myself. So, yeah, going to be having a great chat, hopefully, yeah.
And next up, we have Gareth Nash from Wales and London. Gareth.
Good evening, everybody. I'm really pleased to be here at the festival. Diolch yn fawr iawn I gwahoddi fi I dod yma yn y festival. I know what you're thinking, Grayson's better-looking cousin. My work revolves around horses, and I do a lot of research how other cultures have decorated and embellished horses and how they use them in religion and in symbolism. And I grew up riding. That's a picture of me there with Tiggy. Sorry, oops, go back on that one. So I've been influenced by Japanese Hanwha and Tang Dynasty. And my work, what's so wonderful about clay is that you can sort of express your emotions into it, and I use the horse as a sort of storytelling device to talk about LGBTQ+ issues and transgender issues.
Sorry, Gareth, we'll just let that tone go out. That's okay, so people can hear it. Sorry. A timely reminder to make sure your phones are on silent. That's right, it's in the line.
Don't worry, that's fine. I'm going to be demonstrating hand-building techniques to build horses on a small scale and a large scale, and decorating with slip. and I'm going to be doing a talk about the Tang Dynasty and the horse in Japanese art. And I also do a lot of performing on the LGBTQ plus scene in London, and I also write a lot of music, and the processes I use to make clay are very similar to the ones that I use to compose and make music. So I hope to see some of you there. Brilliant. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up, we've got Iku Nishikawa. I'm not dropping.
Okay, I'm Iku from Kintsugi, Oxford. I'm from Japan through Oxford. Already, probably 16 people already you know me, so I'm not talking about a lot. I'm the only person probably breaking ceramic, not making anything. So kintsugi is Japanese repairing for base, usually ceramic, but could be anything. So tomorrow morning, I was given one vase from Yuan. Maybe he will explain what happened this one. And then this one probably on sale tomorrow. I'm fixing, so both of them. But this is belongs to me, okay? So hopefully see you tomorrow morning. Thank you. I didn't do anything. Hold on. I forgot it. So this is, oh, sorry. This is my work. Okay, typical kintsugi work. And sometimes like I have this kind of problem, a lot of problem, and then my recent work, not recent, but anyway. Okay, done.
Thank you. Thank you. And next up, all the way from Belgium, we've got Patty Waters.
Good evening, everybody. Well, first of all, I want to thank the organizers for inviting me. 12 years ago, I was here with a group of my students from the Art Academy, sitting where you are sitting now, and now I have the honor to sit here. This is just some information about my degrees. This is my art school in Belgium, which I started in 86, 87, which I was running until 2020. I invited many artists from all over the world. Also, Jim Robinson was one of the invited ceramic artists for a masterclass. I organized 4 ceramic biennales in my hometown, for which I also invited, actually 1 year, English was the guest country with Mo Job demonstrating, and yeah, a lot of others. In '92, I was working for Susie Atkins for 1 year in the south of France. Actually, clay has brought me all around the world. I lived 1 year in France. This is an image of the ceramic biennale I organized. That was in the wrong order, sorry. So this was when I lived in Korea for a year, where I was invited to teach at Ewha University. Some images from the Art Academy in Turnhout, and I was also invited in Daegu, South Korea, to teach there. I was also so lucky to be able to participate in many conferences and had the chance to do a lot of residency programs. This is a picture taken last month when I was doing a residency in China, Longtuan, China. I organized some exhibitions, and I was lucky enough to get some prizes. And what I would like to show to you tomorrow and Sunday during my demonstrations is how I make paper porcelain, sculptural forms with paper porcelain, and how I make paper porcelain, and yeah, how I use metal armature and other things to shape my sculptural forms. And recently I was elected to become UNESCO representative for the IEC, which makes me very proud. So thank you.
Thank you, Patty. And the last of our demonstrators has come all the way from India, Adil Raitra.
Hi, lovely to be here. I love the accents that are flying around all day. And I'm from Bombay. I'm an architect and discovered clay 25 years ago. I'm living in an international community of Auroville in South India. My studio, Mandala Pottery, we make 80% of the work we do is customized tableware for restaurants and cafes and boutiques. We also make architectural murals. This is my sculptural work. I do contemporary work, but I get invited for my Indian figurines all over the world, which you will get to see when I'm demonstrating and presenting tomorrow. It starts with one mold, and it becomes what people call creepy babies, or what I'm here in the exhibition for. Lovely being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Adil. And now I'm going to hand over to Jim, who's going to introduce the kiln firers.
Yeah, wow. No festival at Aberystwyth would be complete without the outside firings, and we've got a plethora this year, haven't we? A fantastic number of kilns going on in the yard. You definitely get singed if you go outside the trade tent out there. First up is Ewan Craig, who's got, if you were early today, you got to watch him light the kiln, very early. Was it 4 o'clock? What time did you light your kiln this morning? 4 o'clock this morning. You had to be up early. Come on, Craig. You have to sweat.
Good evening. Yes, I started at 4 o'clock this morning and fired the kiln, which I've been building for the last 2.5 days, in 11.5 hours with less than a bag of wood. From raw to cone 10 Seeger, within 1,300 degrees Celsius. And I have feel nothing more than a sense of relief. Thank you, Iku-san. It's been a long journey from Japan. 30% of the pots which I sent for the Ceramics Wales exhibition and for the exhibition here were destroyed by a postal force, a force to be reckoned with. But when life gives you lemons, we turn to our friends. And Iku-san was kind enough to take my broken pots and is going to bring them back to life. When all is said and done, we make pots for the people we love. It may be hard to see, but in this photograph, my youngest son is sitting watching me pulling handles. There he is on the right side of the screen. This is in 2012. I was making pots for my first firing in my new earthquake-resistant kiln. in Minakami, which is 200 kilometres further west from Mashiko than Fukushima. I've been in Mashiko for 21 years, and I've been in Minakami for 14. If you add that up, I've been in Japan for 35 years, but I've been potting since I was 14. And he was sitting there and he said, "Dad, why did you start potting when you were so young?" And I said, "That's a difficult question." By the time I was his age, he was only 7 then, I'd already realised that I didn't have the same values as my father did, for example, and that life was short and we had to make the most of it. And I wasn't really interested in the hero's journey because that postpones happiness until the happy ending. What I wanted was the happily ever after, right from the start. So I wrote a list of all the things that constituted my happily ever after, and I compared it with a list of careers that were available to me and crossed off everything that didn't match. And the only thing left was pottery. So I worked part-time in potteries until I graduated from university with a degree in ceramics, then ran my own pottery for 4 years before I was invited to go to Mashiko. And I always wanted to go to Mashiko because of Hamada Shoji. That was where he lived and worked, and I was entranced by the work ethic of the Mingei Association, the Mingei philosophy. And I just wanted to live a good life. And I only intended to be there for 2 years. In 2011, going back to this photograph if I can, I wanted to get away from the artificiality of modern society, the dependence that we have on infrastructure, and I just took a step back to our roots. People have been making pottery for 14,000 years or more. And in the last 150 years, we've become so addicted to infrastructure. And yet, when I studied with Shimaoka Sensei, I was throwing on a wooden kick wheel, the dirt floor studio, drawing water from the well in a thatched roof building with not a pane of glass anywhere, just a sheet of paper and a wooden shutter between myself and the elements. And I wanted to live a real life. So I was looking for a second-hand kick wheel, and Tomo Hamada happened to have one from the original Hamada pottery when they moved from what is now the museum, which was originally the Hamada pottery, to their new pottery. There was this one wheel which was used by one of the shokunin, which was left over in one of the sheds for 50 years. And he said, "Happy birthday," because it happened to be my birthday, and gave me one of the wheels from the Hamada pottery, which we restored, and that is what I throw on by natural light, using well water from my own well, wedging my clay by hand, firing in a wood kiln, and if the power goes off, I don't know. But it's not just my pottery process, it's my whole lifestyle. We have a wood-fired bath, we have a pit toilet. I haven't had running hot water for 14 years. But it's just about living a good life and making work which enriches the lives of others. And I've said to my children that I'm probably not going to save the world, but at least when it's destroyed, it won't be my fault. I just finished the firing today, and I'll be here for the next 2 days demonstrating and speaking about what little I know and sharing it with everybody, and I am grateful to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And someone who's been coming as long as I've been, I think, and making kilns, oh, I don't know. You've lost count, haven't you, Joe? Joe Finch, who's kiln building here now. Yeah? Yes.
I'm probably best known as a kiln builder, but in fact that's a very small part of my life. For over 60 years I've earned my living making and selling pots. But to do that I need a good kiln, one that's efficient and economical and easy to fire. So that's why I got into this kiln building business. Anyway, I started my career as a potter in 1964 with a 4-year apprenticeship with my father at Winchcombe Pottery. It was there that I first did my kiln building, helping my father build a second chamber to his oil kiln. In 1969, I went out to Africa and was sponsored to start Kolonyama Pottery in Lesotho. There, the first task I had to do was to build a kiln. So I built a 60 cubic foot oil-fired kiln, which we used for biscuit and glazed firings. Then in 1973, my wife and I moved to Scotland to start our own pottery. It happened to coincide with the oil crisis, and that combined with the fact that we were offered free wood from the local sawmill, decided that I want a wood fire, and I've been wood firing ever since. Anyway, I'm up at the kiln site tomorrow, firing the kiln, and I'd like to meet any of you, and if you want to chat about kilns, I'm only too happy. But I'm meant to be pushing these things. Oh, they're doing it. I don't know what's on there, if anything. Which one? I'm not very good at this technology stuff.
Yeah, they've done yours.
Oh, we've done it. Oh,
Yeah, you're done.
There we are.
And moving into an eco-warrior mode, perhaps. Lisa, tell us what you've got in mind.
Hi, everybody. I'm so thrilled to be here. I feel like a little bit of an upstart with my little tiny small-scale upcycled kiln that I can use in an urban environment using hardly any wood, and it doesn't give off any smoke. So it's called the rocket kiln because it's based on the rocket technology from cooking stoves and such, done in Guatemala in the 70s and 80s, and a rocket heater. So that's my kiln on the right at home, one of them. And on the inside, I'm just showing everybody basically what we're doing is loading kindling so that it goes down and it's self-loading as it burns. The secondary air rushes across the hot coals, pulled up by that chimney part. All of that is underneath an old kiln. I know you all have one. So anyway, we use, it doesn't use hardly any wood. About 70 pounds to get to cone 10 was what we did in Montana when we weighed the wood as we burned it. I like to source from pallets because they're trash everywhere, and I love upcycling. And these are some of the effects that you can get. There's some cone 10 soda, and I'm doing O4 oxidation. That's what you can see up in the show if you want to get your hands on, touch it. And we'll do cone 6 soda as well. Not here, but anyway, if you have questions, come see me.
And a little bit closer to home, we've got Jane Sherman with, yeah. Jane.
Hi everybody, I've just worked out this is my 10th time being in Aberystwyth, and I've been here as a punter, as a student helper, as an assistant, and a demonstrator. So that's a pretty good track record, I think. But anyway, it's lovely to be back. I'm doing obvara, which is an Eastern European technique that I learned in Belarus. I've made the kiln today. Tomorrow I'll be doing the firings, and on Sunday. So if you want to find out more, I'm giving a talk on Sunday at 11:15, and it explains a bit more about obvara. And this is just some of my other work. And these are little slip cast pieces. That's dipping the obvara, and that's some examples of it. And that's it. Thank you.
There's also other things going on, the self-reliant potter, student kilns, and projects with Peter Bodnan going on out in the field. Julia Elliott, are you here to stand? Yeah, would you like to say a word about what you're doing out on the yard? I'm not sure if you've got a slide with there, but just, oh, sorry. Okay.
Hello everybody, welcome. I'm just here as a representative of North and South Wales Potters. We thought it would be lovely if we held a sort of slightly alternative but raku firing and barrel firing opportunity for anybody who wants to take part. So we're down on the piazza. We've got 2 raku kilns that are going, so you can have a go, have a play at doing raku. We're also doing horsehair, feather, if anybody wants to have a go. And we have 2 barrel kilns running. So if you're down there early enough, there's a chance to do, to get your pots saggered and into a barrel firing tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. And yeah, this is just North and South Wales Potters are part of the ICF, and we wanted to make ourselves more available and offer something that you guys can all do easily, but also you can bring your families, children, tourists, locals, anybody can do it. It's really easy. I've had babies doing it. So do please come along. It's great fun. Let out your inner child and come and do some raku.
Thank you. And Ingrid will now introduce the lecturers.
Lovely. So now we're moving on to the lecture program, and first up for that we have Will Cobbing.
Hi everyone. It's really lovely to be here. Never been to the festival before. I'm going to give a talk tomorrow at 10:45 in the cinema, which I hope you can come to. I'll be talking about this sort of thing that I do, which is I make videos in which I perform with clay on my head. So the talk is a little bit like an autobiographical life story of how that happened. And my life story through clay on my head. I'm also in the exhibition From Ceramics to Sound, curated by Fionn and Moira, who are here, which I hope you have a chance to see. It's already open, with Copper Sounds and Abbey Hayward. It's an exhibition that looks at the expanded possibilities of ceramic and clay with various ways of looking at sound. I'll be talking about my work as an artist and working with clay and ceramics, looking at ideas of clay in digital media, on social media, with things like sound and ASMR technologies, so the way that it gets mediated online now. And I'll also be talking about contemporary, recent exhibitions I've been doing, such as an exhibition that's opening today at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Utah, which is like my clay road movie. So I hope you can come. Thanks.
Thank you, Will. Thank you. And next up, but I feel they might still be travelling here, is Theo Harper-Davies. Theo hasn't arrived yet, has he? No. He'll be doing an amazing lecture. I can talk about it quite intimately because I was his PhD examiner and I know it really well. I could probably do it myself now. But it's really fascinating work about hand and 3D printing and hand coiling as a 3D printing method. Not what it sounds like. You'll love it even if you hate technology, you'll still love it, I tell you. So next up, in Theo's absence, we have Natasha Mayo, Dr. Natasha Mayo from Wales, and her lecture will be dedicated to the much loved and sorely missed Morgan Hall and the memory of Morgan Hall. So, Natasha.
Hello, everybody. I was lucky enough to be the recipient of the International Ceramic Studio Kecskemét Hungary Residency Award, the last ICF. I went last year. It was phenomenal, and so I want to take you on a journey. I want to take you back to the studio, and I want to show you quite how extraordinarily transformative a residency can be, particularly when you go somewhere with the cultural wealth and history of Hungary. Thank you very much.
And the last of our lecturers is our very own artist in residence here up in the silver huts that you'll see. It's Dorian Tetty from France. Dorian.
Hello, my name is Dorian. I'm a French artist. I'm part of the Magnetic Residency, which is a UK-France program. I will give a lecture on Sunday morning about my work. I'm very interested in all manufactured objects, products. I love slip casting and making molds of objects. And I also try to make a body of work with the ceramics collection here. I saw a very specific entry which kind of intrigued me, which is the unknown potters section of the catalog. And so, I will be playing with this idea of unknown and genealogy of forms in a manufactured way of thinking ceramics. Thanks.
Thank you, Dorian. And now we're on to, fastly moving on, keeping to time, to presentations. Hooray, very exciting. And I'd like to, sadly, in the absence of Steve Matheson, who'll be here tomorrow but can't join us tonight, I'd like to go back to Natasha, as former recipient of the award, to present the Kecskemét Residency Award, please.
I have a spiel that I was sent by Steve. I'm so thrilled, actually, to pass the baton on. As you can tell, I'm really enthusiastic about my experience, and it's amazing to be able to, pass the award on for someone else to make use of. So here we go. Excuse me for reading from script. In 2017, the Kecskemét Aberystwyth Residency Award was established by Steve Matheson. Put it back on. To celebrate the joint history of his involvement in this festival and the International Ceramic Studio. Each year, the selection gets more difficult, and our board had, again, a really difficult task. And I'd like to personally thank all the applicants, but sadly, there can only be one winner. Naoko Tagari. This is her statement. It's very strange reading an artist's statement out to them. Naoko Tagari takes porcelain as the perfect material to represent the idea of fragility, strength, vitality, and the power of transformation of people and nature itself. She strives to capture the life force, the vitality yet fragility that nature and people naturally exhibit. Something indeed we can learn much from, both as a species and as individual people. Naoko was born in Kyoto, Japan, and is currently based in London. She gained an MA in ceramics and glass at the Royal College of Art and we are extremely pleased to present the 2025 Kiskemet Aberystwyth Residency Award to Nalco Tagaya. And we're hoping that Steve will formally present her with the certificate tomorrow when he's here. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd just like to thank Pot Clays for the ongoing support they've given for the festival in providing materials and sponsorship. And Pot Clays have also donated an award called Emerging Makers. And the candidates for this year's Emerging Makers are here today. And would you please stand? There should be 4 of you. There's Julie, Ruth Pedersen, Bethia Tam, Yelinga Yang, and that's it, isn't it? The 4 of you. And the exhibition is available for viewing, and there will be a vote that's calculated on the numbers that you cast. So give them a fair shot, give them a fair look. Their materials, their images are in the catalog, and see who comes out on top with a generous gift voucher from Pot Clays. Thank you very much, and good luck. I forget, the sustainability lecture went off, the symposium went off this morning, or this afternoon, and I gather that was quite a dynamic event, and it's being followed up by activities here this weekend with the kinds of firings that are going on. You've missed that one if you missed it, but there is a session about Welsh ceramics, you know, craft better than gold. And it should be well worth your time to have a look at that. There's a symposium connected with it. It'll be bilingual, and they'll be discussing lots of the history of Welsh ceramics. And included in that group, he says, Bonnie Grace, Catherine Howell, Philip Hughes, who runs the Ruthin Center, many of you know, Caitlin Jenkins, Andrew Renton, and there will be others. So that's one not to be missed. Actually, there isn't anything that should be missed. The difficulty is deciding where you're going to go and how you're going to spend your time. But that's one of the pleasures of it. And in between, you can go out and get singed or have a drink somewhere. Is Lisa here? Lisa Hammond? Can I say the next item on the agenda, one of the potters in our midst who has decided that the educational standard has fallen beyond, well, consideration in some ways, and decided to take the bull by the horns and introduce and adopt a potter and get professional training where it counts. Lisa Hammond has been doing this for some time. Okay. Tell us about it, Lisa. No, not that much.
Very quickly, okay, because I know we've got to wind up. But 2009, we started Adopt Potter, and we're on our 21st apprentice. So throughout those years, so thank you all the people who've donated and helped us do that. We also set up Clay College. It was a pretty big thing to do, actually, in 2017, and we're now on our 4th cohort. If you'd like to hear more about it, I'm going to do a talk on Sunday morning at 9:30. So if you don't drink too much, maybe I'll see some of you there. Anyway, it'd be lovely to tell you all about it and where we are with everything. So, and we've got a raffle going on in the bit opposite the kiln, so please come and support us. We've got some fantastic prizes this year. Anyway, hope to see some of you.
That's it. Oh, you can
So next up, just to make sure you're aware, I heard somebody today as I was walking around going, this building, huh? Because you never know which level you're on or what door leads to what area. So just so you're well aware, because I have been here and missed things, where the exhibitions are, because it's really, really important that you get to see them all. And we have, oh my God, there's so many exhibitions. There's Ben Boswell's beautiful transformative touch in the Cafe Gallery. There is the North Wales and South Wales Potter exhibition on down in the International Politics Building, where also you will see the Emerging Makers exhibition. So a must. People can sometimes miss it because it's a little bit further. And they wanted to make sure that you knew that that will be open this evening from 8 to 10. There's also the incredible Demonstrators exhibition, which is upstairs opposite the cinema. There's obviously the incredible Ceramic Gallery downstairs, which also features the Upcycled and Assembled in Wales exhibition, definitely worth a visit. And also tomorrow, open already, but with an opening tomorrow, we have, as William mentioned, From Ceramics to Sound, with Copper Sound, Abby Hayward and Will Cobbing's work. And the opening is at 6 p.m. and then there is a performance by Copper Sounds at 6:30, which is actually, I've heard one previously, and it's absolutely worth attending that. So I'm just going to hand back to Jim now to introduce the board members.
Thank you. As we near the pause in activities at the moment, I think we need to recognize the people underneath and behind this whole operation that supported in the intervening years between festivals. Make it happen, ensure it happens, find the money from somewhere, and then invite us all to enjoy. I'd like the people who are on the ICF board to stand, starting with Maura Vincentelli, Peter Widmore, Fionn Rees, Joanna Duncalf, come on, get up, Julia Elliott, Jyoti Parman, Marianne DeVelde, Billy Adams, Hassan In, and Bev Millward. These people we They're simply the unsung heroes of this whole operation, without which it would not be possible to run. Thank you from all of us. Yeah.
And there's one final thing we must now do. If we could just roll the film, please. If we could roll the film, please. It's not on the agenda.
Hello. A dozen or so years ago, I visited a potter in his moorland workshop in the Pennines. This particular potter's workshop, with its gas-fired kiln, occupied two old farm buildings, hugging the upper hillside, rather like a Chinese dragon kiln. After inspecting the hillside kiln, my host served me tea in a little tea house further up the sloping garden, where we entered a modern bubble, a transparent perspex capsule with an all-round view of the valley below. My memory of that tea house, the bubble in the field, came back years later on reading of Jim Ribison's career, BC, before ceramics. As a young man, Jim had originally been an engineer in the United States Air Force, and slowly it came to me. Jim and Liz's tea house, the bubble in the garden. It took on a whole new resonance. Perhaps this perspex tea bubble was Jim's Air Force memory of a rear gunner's bubble on a flying fortress, perhaps. Jim, am I right? By the 1970s, young Jim's engineering skills were transferred from aeroplanes to clay, from sky to earth. He became a potter and became involved in potters' camps, colleges, and as a teacher, demonstrator, and a commentator. He was involved in ceramic institutions with events and with ceramic hippie happenings, such as ours here in Aberystwyth. The distinguished potter Michael Casson, having emceed through the first 4 years of our ICF fair, passed his MC baton and hat to Jim. With his hands-on potter's experience and his genial manner, Jim was an excellent choice. Since the 1997 Aberystwyth Festival, Jim has been with us throughout, continuing to this day. Jim brings charm, humour and authority, while commentating on the occasionally hair-raising demonstrations and firings, eruptions taking place before your very eyes. Jim mixes his own deep knowledge with warm humour, clay and grog together, a robust ceramic combination for our festival. So this is the year 2025. As well as we, the International Ceramics Festival, commemorates Jim's lifetime of achievement, we can also turn our sights to that Peak District bubble and train them on the Robison's own workshop in Booth House Gallery, which this year commemorates its 50th anniversary. That pottery gallery is the one I visited those years ago to have my cup of tea in the rear gunner's bubble. Jim, the International Ceramics Fair is what it is thanks to you and your team and your colleagues, and they are proud to declare you receiver of the ICF Lifetime's Achievement Award 2025. So, I raise my glass from one bubble to another. Cheers, Jim.
Shit. That's a technical term that describes when you've been caught with your pants down, or things have come out of the kiln not quite like you've expected, which we've all had. Well, I'm really moved and totally stunned, but very grateful, and thank you. And it's a lovely piece, and thank you. And where are they? Where are they? Where are they? There you are. Yes, thank you very much.
That was a very hard-kept secret, especially through rehearsals today. But anyway, so that concludes the opening ceremony for the International Ceramics Festival 2025, and what a fitting end to that. But as is tradition, Moira has requested that we launch the festival with the traditional Aberystwyth Mexican wave. So we're going to start, as it's your suggestion, and we're going to go right around and through the audience. And we're going to go, and here we go. And then